Hello, guys, welcome back to episode 2. Because of a few minor difficulties, we weren't able to record our video and post it. So, on to you, Ahan.
So today we're going to talk about immortality and whether it is possible or not.
So, I say, personally, immortality should be possible.
And I agree with that because of very specific cells found in the umbilical cord when a child is born. It's the stem cells
And stem cells are able to.
convert into
Yeah.
any other cell in the human body.
So, but then, Ahan, if scientists know this, why don't they do it?
I have no clue.
I have a feeling it's because, okay, look, if you're immortal, what did you do? What did you do, just like personally?
I would outlive my life and live for longer than I should.
But there's no such thing. Technically, evolution, because, okay, so earlier people said you shouldn't live beyond, let's say, 20, because, it's like weird. Because healthcare was very primitive back then in a few regions. Let's say for India, for example, we had Ayurveda. So, forest time is actually very, very
Advanced.
advanced, yes, advanced. So, do you think if I took a whole shot of stem cells, like I just changed out every cell in my body, would I still live?
Well, probably because stem cells replace the bad cells.
But it depends on
But-
how fast, right?
Yeah.
Because if they do it slow, then it's
Not
gonna
that
be
great.
much. Yeah, it's gonna
Then
kill
you'll
you.
have to be a long-term medication.
Yeah, long term. And also, like, it could kill you. Let's say, like, each cell was currently dying, like, being taken out by the stem cells.
Basically, if you wanted to be immortal and what we are saying is true, because this is unscientific yaps, then you would need to be able to, you would have to sort of take this some, I don't know, your mid-40s,
Why mid 40s?
because that's sort of I'm going to call it a halfway point.
True, that's true. But at the same time, if it's oh well, yeah, that's very true. So this is book series, and I suggested to you
For
video
mature
watchers.
readers.
Not entirely mature. It's called Scythe, and
Oh, okay.
it talks about immortal. It talks about in a world where everyone's immortal.
Immortal.
You can choose to turn the corner, which means you can like go down in age. It talks about how will life be. So there's this thing called the Order of Scythes, and
Yeah.
these scythes are not assassins, not spies. It's just people that will kill people because they need to. Otherwise, will
Otherwise,
be
there
overrun.
would be overpopulation.
Exactly, and we don't have resources for everyone because of how many resources people are already taking. And if people are already taking so many resources, it's harder.
You're going off topic.
Not entirely.
Kind of.
Kind of, yes. Tends to happen.
So, if scientists already know about the stem cells, I'm just trying to get you back onto topic, then why don't they try and create this immortality potion thingy majiggy?
Well, also, let's see. If it like in every movie, what happens? It
Yeah,
just
yeah.
falls into the wrong hands.
Yeah.
But technically, is anything ever wrong?
And also, technically, if we consider things wrong hands, then technically isn't everyone in the world for some other person the wrong hand?
Exactly. This is why there's no good. There's no like black and white, no good and bad. There's just gray. Yeah. So okay, I'm gonna take a very extreme topic. Let's talk about Hitler. So the reason Hitler blamed the Jews was because World War II was very bitter. Germany faced extreme starvation. In fact, they made a whole set of foods called ersatz. Ersatz is
How do you know this stuff?
I read it.
On?
So, horrible history is also very good. Little gruesome, but very good. And, for example, coffee was made out of tar. It's like what they used to make roads with. And they actually said it tasted fine. Because to be fair, coffee is just bitter water.
For all the parents watching, I'm sure you would disagree with that.
I don't think they would. At least that's what my parents tell me. And they faced so much starvation. So in the start of not in the start, somewhere around the middle of World War II, Germany, when they were bombing Britain, they sent out a wrapped pork bone. And they said, a gift from starved out Germany. And I quote from the book, by the end of the war, Germany did not have any pig bones to spare. It was so, like, you see famine nowadays, that times two.
Damn.
Like what we're learning in the negativity instinct is where humans assume negative things, and negative news is easier to hear than like positive news.
You're gonna make Miss Mains proud for bringing in the negativity instinct, and I'm gonna make Robert proud for talking about too much geography. Okay, what's next? Who are you gonna make proud?
Think about it. And because like it is so much starvation.
What do you think would happen if, let's say, someone from the prehistoric times
Survived.
discovered immortality?
I don't know if this is true, but it is said that somewhere around the 2000s, there was this guy, okay? I do not remember his name. And he was living in the 1900s. And he fell in, so he working at a pickle factory. One day he fell into a pickling vat.
Okay.
And they were trying to go, everyone wanted to leave because like the smell. Imagine like living in a room of pickles. That's,
Not so fun.
yeah, not so fun. So this guy, he went, got inside the pickling vat, and the lid was shut over him. Nobody could hear him. Things too thick. 100 years later, he came out. There were two kids that were playing, and they discovered him. They said, "Oh, hello there. What happened? Why are you in this?" And the shop was discontinued. But this guy was still there, and he was alive.
How old was he when he fell into the pickle vat?
40-ish, 50-ish.
Dang.
So he was like pretty young. Well, young.
For his standards.
Yeah, for his standards. And he was so confused, like, oh, where am I? Like, oh, very confused. Because imagine you woke up.
Imagine you were like born in the 1980s or 1990s, like
Even
my
earlier.
parents are. Well,
Earlier.
or earlier.
He's dead now.
And then you suddenly fell asleep.
And then woke up.
And then
100
woke
years
up
later.
100 years
Well,
later.
actually, let's talk about way prehistoric time. If that happened to, and let's say I was like, my name was like Bob the Caveman.
You got inspiration from Bob the Builder, didn't you?
Yeah. So, to be fair, life was pretty slow back then. Evolution takes millions and millions of years, and nothing much would have changed.
Wow, now he's going to make Mr. Love bad for talking about evolution and taking millions of years.
No, but this is a very important thing. Now, so I'm assuming most people here have heard about the Renaissance. Renaissance. It's like, like all those like Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah.
Renaissance.
Ah.
They go together. Because like he made a lot of things. For example, Leonardo da Vinci made his
Vinci.
Yeah, I think Da Vinci. So he created a lion that roared for one of the kings. I think his name was Edward.
Edward V.
One of the Edwards. And yeah, now let's get back on topic to immortality. But if there's no such thing as wrong hands, when Hitler was scapegoating the German Jews, he thought
Scapegoating, not scapegoating.
scape, SCAPEGOATI.
SCRAPE. Scapegoat.
Scapegoating.
Yeah.
That's different.
Then, what does scapegoating mean?
It means to blame someone. Let's say I scapegoat you for the reason, like
Okay,
someone stole
sure.
my cookies, Then I scapegoat you.
Basically, put blame on someone. Just make
Yeah,
it simple.
just
Don't
put
make the
like so he blamed the
years
German
complicated.
Jews, right? And
Or
for like the loss of Germany, like it was a serious, like extremely serious. They were starved out. They had like barely any supplies. It's like during war,
what are you doing?
nothing.
Good, that's what I thought.
Okay, yeah, this is just selling. So yeah, it is pretty bad. So it's like during war, resources run out, and once you get back, it's hard. So immortality should be possible, but whether it should be done, I don't think so. Cause,
But if immortality was possible, then what would you do? You've already asked me that. I said I'd live longer than I was meant to.
my main goal of life is to collect as much information as possible. And just today I asked my father, how much information can the human mind store?
A lot.
A lot.
Some scientists, I'm not sure if this is true. Don't check it. This is
You
unscientific
mean
gaps for a reason.
check it. Check it, because it might not be true.
This is unscientific gaps for a reason. But some scientists think that the average human only uses about 1 to 3% of their brain.
And okay, so there's this thing
And
in philosophy.
Albert Einstein used like 6%, I think.
There's
I
a thing
think.
in philosophy. It's called reductio ad absurdum. It
Yeah.
means if you take something away, it'll appear absurd. For example, a common thing my friends say to me: if science has been wrong so many times, why do we still listen to it?
Who
Or
says that?
Urgent.
Oh, then I understand.
Don't say names in this. So basically, okay. So let's say you tell me this. So science says gravity exists. If I throw something, will it not fall?
According to whose laws was this? What goes up must come down?
Newton.
Newton's law.
Every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
That's the
Newton's
third law.
Don't remember my laws very well, but yeah. So and yeah, back to Hitler. So basically,
Didn't you just say we were getting off task so you went back to Hitler?
yeah, no, because he didn't think what he was doing was wrong.
Fair.
And
You are
neither-
human. I think this is psychology, but then again, check this. This is unscientific gaps. Nothing we say here is true, at least
Mostly.
mostly. So, a human will never think they are wrong.
Then why does my parents say like your wife is always right or something like that?
No clue.
Well, yeah, life.
Humans will try not to think they're wrong.
Yeah.
Or they'll be sarcastic saying they're wrong. Unless you're
No.
just a very humble person.
Either I think people take that wrong and like do word trickery, word trick like make it seem they are correct. That's what I do quite a few times.
Okay.
So, you guys tell us down in the comments whether immortality should be done and whether we are very Sigma people. Thank you
Thank
and
you.
goodbye.
See you on the next episode.